Welcome back to one of the Better Plays YouTube channel. Today is Saturday, December 14th, and I'm back breaking down some more college football. We haven't talked since last Saturday. I guess we haven't had any college football videos, but I've been gone for a couple of days. Glad to be back. We are going to be looking at one of the best rivalry matchups of all time. Army going up against Navy today. Before that, let's take a look at the college football playoffs. We have not been able to talk about the college football playoffs yet. So here's the bracket right in front of you guys. I think everybody can agree they got the teams right. I know Alabama, people wanted Alabama in, but I think SMU deserved that spot. Alabama, probably better than SMU, but SMU played the season. They only lost 2 games, 1 game really, if we don't count that conference championship game. And Clemson sneaks in because they get the win, so good for Clemson, I guess. But I think the overall best team right now setting up is Penn State. They get SMU, then Boise State. So you can make an argument that Penn State, if they don't mess anything up, they're already in the Final Four. I think the toughest draw, and one that was deserved, is Ohio State. Also, I don't know if Tennessee deserved it, but I'm glad Tennessee's still in. People were talking about maybe Tennessee being one of the SEC teams that didn't make it if they dropped another game, but they beat Vanderbilt. They did their job. They have to go up against Ohio State in the shoe. Multiple things coming up about Ohio State, how they made that new ruling a federal crime to plant a flag, and then Ohio State has a lot of their tickets being sold to Tennessee fans right now, so who knows what happens in that game. Clemson against Texas might be a better game than people think because Texas doesn't look great. And then, other side of the bracket, no, I don't really care. Either three of those teams, whatever. I think Notre Dame will most likely come out of that squad, which is kind of crazy because Georgia's up there, but I don't know if Georgia's that good either, plus backup quarterback, although he did look better than Stinson. So who knows what happens on that top right. But I think right now, I can confidently say Penn State will be the Final Four. I'm going to have Oregon in the Final Four. Georgia is going to lose to Notre Dame in the Final Four. And then I'm going to put Arizona State. I believe in Arizona State. We'll put them in the Final Four. I think it's going to be Oregon against Penn State in the final. Should be fun. Should be fun to watch there. But let's take a look at the Army-Navy game. It is one of the most exciting rivalries in all of college sports. We've had these teams, play in bad weather. We've had good weather. We've had both teams being bad. We've had both teams being good. We've had one team being bad, one team being good. It just seems like it doesn't matter what type of game we get. It's always a close game, and the under typically always hits. I am going to go against the trends this season. I do think that Army's clearly the better team on both sides of the ball. They're better than Navy in every aspect of the game. Army was able to show that winning that conference, beating Tulane in that AAC championship game. They dominated them. They dominated the Green Wave from kickoff till the clock hit 0. The only reason the Green Wave were able to score 14 points was because of that garbage time 10-minute drive in the fourth quarter to score a touchdown. So I think Army is a well-deserved champion, and they're going to dominate Navy in this game. Spread is now -6. Still going down, but that's just the trends of everybody betting the trends, betting the under, betting with the points. So I'm going to go against the trends here. Army, they played that game against Notre Dame, and I think everybody's saw that game against Notre Dame and like, well, Army's not a very good team. Army cannot operate if they go down by 2 touchdowns in the first 5 minutes. That's just not how Army plays. If that game was 0-0 in the first 5 minutes, Notre Dame had the ball, I really, really think Army would have gave them at least a better battle. When Army was down by 14, they had to take more chances, had to take, go for 4th downs inside their own territory. Defense was on their heels the entire game. I think if Army is able to control the clock a little bit more, not give up the 2 touchdowns in the first 5 minutes, that could have been a completely different game. But I still believe in Army. I think this line is a little bit down because of what happened in that Notre Dame game. I think Army is the best team in the AAC, and they showed that. And I do think they're well above the Navy talent that they have on that team. So I'm going to take Army here. They're going to control the clock. They're going to run the ball 50-plus times once again. I think this game's going to be a blowout. I think Army's going to take it. I'll take them -6 as the play. Let's go to the player props for tomorrow. We're going to be looking at the same game, Army going up against Navy. Typically, we talk about the quarterback with Army. This time, we're going to go with the running back. It's going to be Kanye, not the singer, but it's going to be Kanye Udo. And I hope I am pronouncing that correctly, Udo. We're going to go with the over 69.5 rushing yards against Navy. You guys know this, I love Bryson Daly. Nobody in the country deserves more love than Bryson Daly. But at the same time, we've seen Kanye, in the weird ways that he does, go over 100-plus yards multiple times. He gets 20-plus touches, it feels like, every single game. He comes off a 158-yard game against Tulane in the last matchup. He's had double-digit carries in every game but 3 this season, and he's had over 70-plus rushing yards in every single game but 4 this year. And he usually does it right up the middle. We don't see him go around the tackles much. We see him go right up the middle typically for this Army team. Again, just like my breakdown of the game, I do not see Navy stopping Army very much. I think Army will go on these 8 to 10 minute drives. They're going to have multiple fourth down conversions. I think we're going to see a steady workload of running the entire game for Army like we've been seeing all season long. I'm going to take his over 59.5 rushing yards. I think we're going to have between 50 and 60 rushing attempts, just like we saw in that Tulane game. I'm going to take the running back this time instead of the quarterback over his total rushing yards as the first play. For the second play of the day, we're going to go to a bowl game, a bowl match between Western Michigan and South Alabama. We're going to be looking at one of the top receivers in this conference, the Sun Belt or the Fun Belt, whichever you prefer. I prefer the Fun Belt. Give me Jamal Pritchett to go over 89.5 receiving yards against Western. For starters, Jamal this season, he's closing in on 100 catches, 1,200 receiving yards. In this game, he needs 9 catches, 73 yards. I think he's going to get both 100 catches and 1,200-plus yards on the season after this game. Over the last several games for South Alabama, they've been moving the ball up and down the field, and this guy has been doing work between the 20s. He hasn't been scoring a lot of touchdowns, but between the 20s, Jamal Pritchett has been amazing. Over the last 5 games, Jamal has had 10-plus catches in 4 of those 5 games. In the one game he didn't have 10-plus catches, he had 8 catches, 102 yards. He's gone over this number 5 times this season already, over 89.5. He's notched 100-plus yards 5 times this season. He's going to go over 100-plus yards in this game against Western because Western is one of the worst defensive teams in the country. Not just the MAC conference. And I've talked about the MAC conference a lot this season. They've got some good defensive teams. Miami, Ohio didn't show that in their conference game, but they are a top team in the nation this season on the defensive side. Western Michigan, not only are they the worst defensive teams or one of the worst defensive teams in their conference, they're one of the worst defensive teams in the nation. They're bottom 10 this season in total defense. We should see South Alabama put up a lot of yards, especially in the secondary. I'm going to go with Jamal Pritchett to go over his total receiving yards as the final play of the day. Let's go to the recap graphic. We're going to be taking Army. They are -6 right now. Responsibly, I'm going to put this a 3-unit play. Usually these are just 1. I think I am very confident that Army is the way better team over Navy. I understand the trends. I understand the underplays. And, if you want to take the points, more power to you. But I think Army is by far better than Navy. I'll take them -6. Kanye Uda over 69.5 rushing against Navy. And then Jamal Pritchett over 89.5 receiving yards against that Western Michigan defense. Guys, that's going to do it for the NCAA football plays and props for Saturday, December 14th slated games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please sure to drop a like this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.